So today we have Mr. Edward England Jr., and he's here with us with the Dickson Hiking Group or Club?
It's actually Dickson County Hikers.
Dickson County Hikers.
Right.
And I came across your group because I was following through, I don't know, there's lots of little groups in Dickson and so forth, but some of them had just moved into town recently and they were looking for hiking opportunities. And I think that's where your group popped up because I had no idea there was a hiking group. We did have the state of Tennessee in with their program to get out to all the state parks, which I know we actually have a great park for hiking at Montgomery Bell.
Exactly.
So with that being said, though, just give us a little background story, why you started the club, what it's kind of morphing into or where you see it going.
Well, we began the club about 10 years ago. Sherry Phelps Fox and I, we became distantly acquainted through the fact that we were on Facebook friends, and even though I'd never met her, and she and I were sharing a mutual interest in hiking. And we were looking around, so we decided, well, you know what, we don't have a hiking group here in Dickson County. So it'd kind of be nice if we created one. Next thing I knew, she had created the Dickson County Hikers and sent it to me, said, here, you're an admin.
You're now in charge.
So,
well, it's amazing how, again, Facebook is such an amazing tool, how it brings people together. And it is one of those resources, good and bad. I mean, there's good and bad to everything. But it does a way for people to reach out and find different groups. I know we have a biking group. I think there's even a walking group. There's lots of different groups, running clubs. With the hiking. So with your hiking, with that being said, with your hiking group, do you guys mainly focus on with local, or do you focus on do you go distances to go hiking?
there are times we go distances. I know Sherry travels multiple states with her husband. I myself stay local for the most part because I have other responsibilities.
Got it.
And I mainly hike alone. That's just something I do because I have to just work it into my own personal schedule.
Gotcha.
And I think that's something that a lot of people have to do, working into their own personal schedules, like I said, with their family and school and work and all that. I like to go down and hike in the park. Now, there are so many places around that I have been that you can't go to anymore because so much of it has sold or become private property or posted. And but so many of my favorite places to go, such as Paint Rock Bluff and Red 7 Bluff and places like that, are no longer available because, as I say, they've been sold.
Gotcha. So no more privately owned or just groups.
Right.
Gotcha.
We did have some of our own private property that I was on quite a bit. And I was raised in the area all my life, and I decided that one time I decided, I'm just going to go out and do some hiking. I'd been called to jury duty. They dismissed us early. It's too late to go to work. So I decided to hit the trail.
Very nice.
And then it sort of morphed into something later on. And I like going down to John Noel in Bon Aqua. Okay. It's a very old established place. That's where the Tennessee State Law legal branch, whatever it was started. Then at Bon Aqua Springs, there's some extremely old growth timber down there. Some of it's probably older than the state of Tennessee.
Wow. And they have specific trails for people to go. Are these trails marked, or are you just kind of on your own? And
there's a very small parking area there, handle maybe 3 vehicles. You have the Bon Aqua Springs. You have some pipe running out of the spring over into next to the road where you can get you some fresh water.
Gotcha.
It's actually just one trail, but from that trail you can look down on the old resort.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
some of the
that.
foundations are still there.
Yeah.
But that is private property.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we have so many different places around that we like to promote on the site, in the Facebook group. And such as, for instance, Nathan Bedford Forest State Park. There's some nice trails there. Some of it's strenuous.
Gotcha.
Some of it's straight up, the other half is straight down.
Gotcha. And where is that, just for listeners, just so they know?
New Johnsonville area.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
It's the old Johnsonville town was there. And, of course, Nathan Bedford Forest Park is across the river over near Camden. It's where, of course, it's a historic site.
Yeah, I've been to the Civil War Museum and so forth they have there, and it's actually quite a pretty drive down to the river and to the marina and everything as well. Quite historic. So,
but we also share more remote places. I've been so many different places. I know you and I have been to many of the same places: Memorial, Monument Valley, Petrified Forest. I've hiked some of the Superstition Mountain Range and Grand Canyon, and then here in Tennessee and North Carolina, I've done a lot of hiking. Pickett State Park is a wonderful place. South Cumberland, South Fork of the Cumberland River, just outside of Daniel Boone National Forest. It's beautiful places. You have the Double Arches. You have some Class 4 rapids on the South Fork. It's a very beautiful place.
Yeah, quite a variety. And so, what are some of the things that you've noticed? Like, what are the positive benefits that you've noticed? By getting out into nature or just hiking. Some people do it, to stay in shape. Some people do it to get in better shape. Some people just do it to get out into nature and just stress reliever.
That's exactly what I was going to tell you. It relieves stress in a way that's just incredible. I've always often said that you can't have a bad day when you're out in the woods.
I think that's a good way to look at it.
And you reconnect yourself, reconnect with God. If when the ones of us who believe in that,
absolutely.
You, of course, the health benefits are great. Blood pressure, heart rate, all that stuff's good. And when I first started hiking a lot, I lost like 40 pounds within about 2 months.
Isn't that awesome?
But that was due to an accident where I had to get out on trails and start getting back in shape.
I love it.
Now we're here roughly 8 weeks from cooler weather.
Yeah, we're recording this right now, and it's July, and it is hot as
it is.
There's no reason to be out on a hike or a motorcycle or anything at this point.
No, I often tell people I'm in a very intimate relationship with an air conditioner right now.
At this time, that's very, very important to be safe like that. And there's no sense to be outside in this kind of weather at all.
I used to work in this weather all the time. Was working construction and farming and things like that, and timber cutting, and so I've gotten. Of course, I'm out of all of that now, but
again, more outdoors. So outdoors has kind of been almost a way of life for you then over the years. Yeah, awesome. So, what type of do you guys meet on a regular basis, or you try to meet other members, or it's strictly through Facebook, and you guys just have your discussions and things of that nature?
Pretty much. We like to get on there and share where we have been for people who haven't heard of those places. And we do encourage people to get out with people of their own speed, their own age groups. I think it's a great way for people who are still able to get out and hike like that. I'm very fortunate. I'm 70 years old now.
Congratulations.
But I'm still able to get out and do a lot of things like that.
Absolutely.
I enjoy taking my grandchildren out.
There you go.
Back when they were still children, and help them identify the flora and fauna. That's a maple tree. That's a beech tree. This is a red oak. This is a white oak. That's a chinkapin oak. Things like that, and of course, identify different animals. I've been out there with my granddaughter one time down Montgomery Bell, and a mink came right up within 10 feet of us with us standing there without even knowing we were there.
Wow.
Until it finally noticed and it was gone. But
so between bugs and snakes and all that, you get good at identification.
Exactly.
Which ones you should be worried about.
Yeah, we do have 3 different types of venomous snakes here in the area. Yep. We do have the timber rattler, the copperhead, and the northern cottonmouth. But the cottonmouths are not as wide ranged. they're pretty much centralized down around the Harpeth River and some of its tributaries a little ways up. I was raised around them, so I know them very well. I've had people tell me who were not from here.
That's me.
I don't, especially people say from Florida and Alabama, there's no such thing as cottonmouths in Tennessee until I brought them one.
Yeah, I was proved them wrong. Yeah, that has been one of the biggest changes for me and myself. Like I said, I grew up in Ohio, so hiking, you really had to go hours and hours away because everything around us was farm country. But in a sense, though, we had enough woods in the area. You would go hiking. We call it hiking in the woods, but it was just kind of out exploring.
Yeah, exactly.
There were no trails, or we were just out getting bugs and ticks and stuff like that.
Well, my father made sure I knew the outdoor life. He didn't even want me to join Boy Scouts. He said, "You already know how to hunt and camp and fish. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
But that was just the way we were. We lived outside. We worked outside. We did everything and outside, and I have to really credit my father for that.
That's awesome. And I love that we have local people that, are willing to step out and do things like create a hiking club and get together and meet a lot of people, because we still have a lot of people moving into the Dickson area. And a lot of them are coming from areas that are, they're in hiking heaven, so to speak. But they're coming here looking for those opportunities. And like you said, it can just be more of a social thing where, hey, we're going to share where we are. Or where we've been, and that might encourage you to next time you're in such and such state to go out and take a short hike as well. Exactly. So I think it's a wonderful way to get together and healthy and stress and everything.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I do enjoy going out and sharing what I know of it. And I don't know everything. I mean, you have Randy Hedgepath will identify everything in the world that's out there. He's a great retired Tennessee State naturalist.
Oh, nice.
But we do enjoy. I hope Randy didn't mind me dropping his name there.
That's okay.
But I've been out with him. He's great to be out with.
I just think it's fantastic learning all that, because that's something I've always enjoyed. Is what kind of tree is this? What's kind of that? Because they all have different, canopies, and they have different barks, and it's just kind of neat to know that kind of thing. Some are good for this, some are good for that.
Right.
Some are just
It's also good for learning how to treat the wildlife.
Yeah.
For instance, the way I grew up, if it was a venomous snake, it needed to die.
Correct.
But the older I got, the more I learned about them, especially the cottonmouth moccasin. They just want to get out of your way.
Right.
And the only way that they're going to bother you is if you actually try to mess with them, or if you just happen to surprise one.
Correct. And I think that's true with a lot of animals, whether it be snakes, bears. I don't think they want to mess with any of us. They like to be left to themselves as well. And like I said, but learning that awareness is just another thing I think it's great about being out into the nature, so to speak. And you learn those things because that's like a learned experience or a learned skill that no matter, you never know when that's going to come in handy.
Exactly. I do advise people all the time, though, make sure you take some kind of a backpack and something to steady yourself if you're like a walking stick.
Yeah.
Because you may get into a situation where you need some extra balance. A good backpack will stabilize your lower back and your hips, and it'll help with your posture. And you will actually get other benefits. Myself, I put about 40 pounds of extra weight in the back of my pack.
More workout.
Good workout. And also carry some safety gear, especially first aid. It's not just you that's out there.
Correct.
You may come up on someone else, as I have myself before, where I would come up on someone who was injured. They may have messed up an ankle or knee or something, or
absolutely,
or fell and got cut. So you're there not just for yourself; you're there for them too.
That's a great point that you make. It's something I never would have really thought about because I'm not really that serious of a hiker. But you bring up a great point. Is like there is a safety side of it as well, not just yours, but like you said, you may not be the only one out there hiking that you'll come across.
Yeah.
So,
but as I say, we invite everybody to get out in nature, learn your area, learn what's there. Look at not just for the benefit of knowledge, but also benefit of just being aware of what hazards there could be.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people get injured, and even worse when they're out like that, and they're not aware of the dangers.
Well, I think a lot of people just think, hey, I'm just going to go for a walk, but you have to realize you're in a different environment. You're not just walking down the sidewalk.
And nowadays, well, it took me a lot longer to get here than it used to.
We are
with
growing.
the traffic. But with so many people coming in, we're infringing on the wildlife's habitat.
Yeah.
Someone just recently in one of the new subdivisions in White Bluff found a timber rattler at his house.
I saw that. I saw that post. I sent all my friends back in Ohio.
But there are things you need to be aware of, and we're also getting other invasive species coming in. I mean, the armadillo used to not be here.
Right.
Coyote used to not be here.
Interesting.
Fire ants used to not be here, and they're coming in.
They are here. I've been
Wild
there.
hogs are starting to come in. They haven't reached Dickson County that I know of, but I do know that they're coming. They're in, I think, Rutherford County.
They're getting close. Yeah.
So it's best to take precautions.
Yeah.
But through our group, we like to encourage people to find others with the same interest. Someone that you can work with their schedule too, and just get out and have fun.
Yep. That's what it's all about, right?
Exactly.
Life is too short. You got to get out and have fun, enjoy it while we are here. So I know in my profession, one of the most important things is staying in motion. And I'm always big about move it or lose it. And I see that as I get older, we have to stay in motion, stretching. I always think that, hiking, just walking is another great way of keeping that body in motion, keeping that body healthier. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I just think it's wonderful that number one, you're getting out there and getting yourself staying in motion. You said you were 70, you're staying in motion, you're getting your grandchildren in motion. So many of these young kids only know the texting or they're on a video game. And I think reconnecting back into nature, I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think it can do a lot for people. And I'm sure it, kind of like you mentioned with, I think you said it was your dad and getting you out in the nature again.
And you're talking about with people today and their little devices, you've got the knowledge of the old world right here in your pocket. Yeah. You can look up almost anything you want that's out there and in just seconds.
Right.
And I think people have lost their connection with nature, with each other, with society in general. They've lost their connection with how to interact with other people.
True.
And but in things like this, it's great to be able to go out and basically, when you go out in the woods, you not only just find nature, you find yourself. I believe you come more to the center of yourself. It's almost like a spiritual thing.
I would agree.
And the reason I even started all this, what led to it was, I had a serious accident in 2008 where I actually blew 2 discs up in my neck, and I had to have my neck fused. And I do have some lower back degeneration. Of course, being 70, you got to expect that. But I've had this since I was about maybe 30 because the type of work I always did. Mm-hmm. And I had quite a bit of difficulty in walking for about 8 months. When you get out here and walk on a sidewalk or a road or something that's just flat, smooth surface, that's one thing. But when you get out on a trail, you're exercising muscle groups and joints and stretching things out that you never would otherwise.
Yeah, you're recruiting more muscles. Balance.
Exactly.
Balance is the big thing.
And I basically learned how to walk again on the trails.
That's awesome. That's a great story right there.
So as the old saying goes, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Amen.
And I've never been a very flexible person. Even when I was playing sports, I was never flexible. But I've found out that I am happier. I'm at more peace when I get out that way and look around. And like I said before, the reason I hike alone most of the time, for one thing, it's because of my own mobility. I don't want to slow other people down. I take it kind of slower.
Gotcha.
And so there are people who are just like me. And so we might get out on a trail together or something. Sometimes I have done it. But most of the time, the reason I hike alone is because I just want to be out there in the peace and observe things.
Yeah. I understand the thing about getting away from people. I have that feeling sometimes myself. You just want to get away.
But then there's times I also like to be with somebody. But
of course,
it's just the way it is.
But that's a very good thing. Well, it goes back to going back out into the nature, out in the woods. This is not something new. But I do believe that we are starting to rediscover it. Again, the famous author Thoreau, Why I Went to the Woods.
Yeah.
And I think he spent many years in the woods, as a matter of fact. But it's a old thing, but yet it can be a new thing for many, many people. And I think it's exciting for them to discover it, explore it, and this is a great way for people to do that. And
you also have the other historic people, such as John Muir.
Yes.
I mean, without his knowledge and his influence, where would we be today? Yeah. Then you have President Theodore Roosevelt. One
of the best.
With his forethought of creating the park system.
And love of nature. These guys all had a love of nature.
Exactly. And where would we be today if it had not been for them saving that for us?
Yeah, I don't want to think about it.
And I would like to see more of that done now. The Nashville the Tennessee Conservatory is Tennessee Land Conservancy. That's what it's called. They are purchasing more land all the time.
That's good.
Now we have a huge tract outside of White Bluff that is in a family trust, and it is supposedly going to be saved as a natural area later on.
That's wonderful.
And so,
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I'd like to see that happen. It's somewhere around 900 acres, I believe.
Oh my! Talk about hiking trails, right?
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in today. It's great to get to know you and meet you, and I know we're going to have some other discussions on other topics later, especially with history and so on. But I do appreciate you taking your time, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. You've been listening to Beyond the Adjustment, where we have conversations with other health-minded professionals to create a healthier community.